His name was Robert, but everyone called him Stinky Robbie. I tried to think of a polite way to put it, but honestly, he really did stink. And trust me, he smelled bad. No one could stand it. Anyway, I'm here today to tell you how my luck took a turn for the worse and how I ended up stuck with Robbie. Apparently, Robbie's parents called my mom and dad. They were really worried about their son and were asking for help. It seemed like Stinky Robbie couldn't make any friends, everyone at school bullied him, and now he was in a really bad place emotionally. So, his parents asked if my folks knew anyone who would be willing to let him stay over for one night and maybe be his friend, even if only at night. And since I wasn't exactly popular and didn't have many friends myself, my parents thought they could kill two birds with one stone. They told his parents that Robbie could stay the night with me, maybe we'd even become friends. Unfortunately, I didn't get a say in the matter. But honestly, I felt bad for the guy. So, I told myself I'd at least try to be nice to him for the night. It's just one night, how bad could it be? When he arrived at my house, I welcomed him in and took him straight to my room. He looked around in awe for a bit before turning to me and saying, "Wait, you have a bathroom in your room?" I smiled and said, "Yeah, it's my own private bathroom." He asked, "Can I use it?" Before I could answer, he ran inside and locked the door behind him. I heard him using my cologne and deodorant, trying to mask the smell a little. Well, good for him. I should have thanked him for that, but I figured I'd be polite and not mention the smell at all. No need to embarrass him. When he came out, I showed him the best thing in my room, but I didn't tell him I always had it. I pretended I got it just for him. His eyes lit up. "Is that soda?" I nodded. "Yeah. Do you like it?" He hesitated for a second before saying, "I don't know. I've never tried it. My parents don't allow me to. They say it's unhealthy." I asked, "Do you want to try it?" He looked embarrassed for a moment, then mumbled, "I'd love to." I handed him a can and said, "Go ahead, this is the best thing you'll ever taste." He took a small sip, then broke into a huge grin and gulped the whole thing down. After that, I turned on my PlayStation. "You like playing Fortnite?" He frowned. "What's Fortnite?" I laughed. "It's a video game where you shoot people, and they shoot you, until only one person is left standing." He shook his head. "I've never heard of it. Where the hell had this kid been living? A cave? Who hasn't heard of Fortnite?" I showed him how to play and gave him some pointers. After a while, I let him take over. He died early in his first game. I reached for the controller, thinking it was my turn, but he begged me to let him keep playing until he won. This went on for about 4 hours. He finished 3 bottles of soda and ignored all my constant advice. But in the end, he won. He jumped up, screaming and crying with joy. Then he hugged me and whispered, "You're the first person who's ever been this nice to me, thank you." My eyes teared up, and I told him, "Don't say that." He pulled away, his face twisting with sadness. "I know I stink. I know everyone avoids me because of it, right?" I hesitated. "No, it's just that." He cut me off. "Don't lie to me. I know. And I hate it. No matter how much I shower, no matter how much cologne I use, no matter how many times I wash my clothes, the smell won't go away. But I know why, it's because of them. It's my parents' fault. They make me clean up after them, wash off the blood, scrub away the bones, and wipe up the mess left from the corpses. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought you'd be like the rest of them. I thought you'd be mean to me. I'm sorry, but they made me do it." My heart started pounding. My mouth went dry. My whole body began to tremble. I whispered, "They made you do what?" Tears streamed down his face as he sobbed, "They made me unlock the bathroom window in your room. I heard the bathroom door creak open. I turned and saw them, his parents. Standing there, wearing terrifying masks and holding long, gleaming knives. His father let out a deep, spine-chilling laugh, the kind that drained every drop of warmth from my body. Then, he pointed straight at me and said, "We'll kill him first, then we'll take care of the grown-ups." My breath caught in my throat as Robbie's father took a slow step forward, the knife in his grip catching the dim light of my room. His mother followed closely behind, tilting her head slightly, as if savoring the moment. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. But my body refused to move. Then, out of nowhere, Robbie threw himself in front of me, spreading his arms wide. "No," he shouted. "You're not gonna hurt him." His father stopped, his masked face unreadable. "Step aside, Robbie," he said, voice eerily calm. But Robbie shook his head violently, his whole body trembling. "I won't let you do this anymore. I'm done helping you." His mother let out a long sigh. "Oh, sweetheart," she cooed, "you know we can't let him live." That was when I noticed something. Robbie was gripping something in his hand. My deodorant spray. Before his parents could react, he pressed the nozzle and sprayed it straight into his father's eyes. His dad screamed, staggering backward. "You little..." But Robbie wasn't done. He grabbed the lamp off my nightstand and smashed it over his dad's head. I snapped out of my trance. My legs finally obeyed me. I lunged for the door and yanked it open. "Mom. Dad. Call the police." I barely heard my parents' startled voices as I turned back to see Robbie wrestling with his mother. She clawed at him, trying to reach for her knife, but he shoved her hard against the bathroom door, knocking the wind out of her. I grabbed my gaming chair and swung it with all my strength. It crashed into his father's back, sending him sprawling onto the floor. Robbie took the chance to kick his dad's knife away, panting. "We did it. We actually stopped them." Within minutes, my dad came rushing upstairs with a baseball bat. My mom was on the phone with the police. By the time the officers arrived, Robbie's parents were tied up with a couple of my old PlayStation controller cables, groaning in pain. At first, the officers didn't believe Robbie's wild claims. They assumed his parents had just snapped that night. But when they searched their house, what they found made headlines. Hidden beneath their home was a secret basement, a place filled with horrors straight out of a nightmare. Blood-stained tools, chains bolted to the walls, and worst of all, remains. Human remains. Bones. Skulls. Fragments of clothing from multiple victims. The police discovered that Robbie's parents had been serial killers for years. They had been abducting people, homeless, drifters, sometimes even unsuspecting neighbors, and making Robbie help clean up after their crimes. That's why he always smelled the way he did. No matter how hard he tried to scrub it off, the stench of death clung to him. His parents had planned to make me their next victim. But Robbie, he saved me. Robbie's parents were arrested, sentenced to life without parole. As for Robbie, things changed for him. He was taken in by a kind foster family, one that helped him heal from everything he had endured. Therapy, support, real care, things he had never truly known before. We stayed friends after that. And you know what? Robbie never smelled bad again. But even years later, whenever I think about that night, I swear I can still hear his father's laugh echoing in the back of my mind. Like, subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell icon to never miss a scare.